So we did that. We stashed away our pointy hats, pulled out broomsticks. We even dropped the T from our name just so we could blend in. Having faith that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts would establish freedom of religion, speech, and assembly that we could all enjoy today. So we're going to talk about Boston's freedom, fun, and first. Freedom, birthplace of the American Revolution, yeah? Sure. Fun? Well, I hope you have some fun. First, being one of America's oldest cities, many things happened right here in Boston first. Speaking of first, I'm going to introduce you to my pet, Hocus Pocus. Part duck, part cat. I call him a dat, and that's a first. I also call him my familiar. That's because I'm a witch, and because I'm the only one who can hear him when he talks. You might say we are wicked familiar. Everybody say hi to Kim. She's going to keep us safe on the roads of the North. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Do not talk to the driver. Can't you guys read? Just kidding. So, where's everybody from? Where are you guys from? LA. Welcome. Left Coast represent. How about you guys? From LA too, you know? Just kidding. London, England. Yay! We get to do some British bashing. Thank you so much for coming. Just kidding. Not at all. Oh, she's Swedish. She's good. She's safe. Okay. How about right here? Where you guys from?
First State, Delaware.
First State, Delaware. Welcome, First State, Delaware. Same group? All one group? Okay, how about here? Idaho. Welcome, Idaho. Yo, what's up? Did you say Boston? We're doing the touring for you? Good move. How about you? Where are you from? Ooh, nice. New Hampshire. Welcome, New Hampshire. Our northern neighbors back there. Where you from? Where are you from? Italy. Welcome, Italy. Cool. I love that. A little international. Behind Italy, where are you from?
California.
What was it?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Again, left coast. Behind them?
The First State,
More
Delaware.
What's going on in Delaware? They closed or something?
Yeah, season's over, so.
Okay. How about in the back row? Where are you from?
Baltimore.
Baltimore, Maryland. Welcome, Maryland. That side?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. I can tell by the hat. Behind San Francisco? Florida. Welcome, Florida. Behind Florida?
Scotland.
Scotland. UK is representing. We need Wales and we need Ireland. All the way in the back. Where are you from? Where are you from?
Mexico.
Mexico. Welcome, Mexico. Welcome
Thank
to Boston,
you.
everybody. Beautiful day. Now, here's a big question. Does anybody like history?
Yeah.
Ooh, history buffs. Okay. It's a history tour. I figured I'd tell you that. Yeah, so Boston originally looked like that. It was called the Shawmut Peninsula, and it was about 1.5 miles. That would be 51 acres. Today, Boston is 4 times that. 67% of our city is filled in land. Original land, coming winding and narrow, all the landfills straight, flat, wide. Easy way to tell you are, yeah? So that word Shawmut means living waters. Algonquin Indian word. A Massachusetts tribe used this land for summer hunting and fishing. That was it until 1625 when a reverend showed up. His name was William Blackston. He settled in completely alone. He built himself a cottage, planted himself a garden. He was wicked happy, riding around on his white bull with no clothes on, and nobody cared. He was alone. Until some Puritans showed up. You guys ever heard of Puritans? No singing, no dancing, nothing that would be any fun. Bibles and crowds, that was them. But they liked to brew beer. That's kind of fun, right? One of it was good, but they came from across the river, salty brackish water. They asked the Reverend, can we join you? He said yes, so they all lived together 4 years. Did the Anglican minister and the Puritans get along? Nope. So in 1634, the Reverend decides, I am out of here. Sells them the land that he never owned for 30 pounds silver, and he moves down to Rhode Island. A lot more religious freedom south of here than up here in the Puritans, right? So then all you have left is Puritans, and they do not like the name Shawmut, so they change it. Most of them had come from a town in England called St. Botolph's Town, Boston, England. It comes from Boston, Massachusetts. That's it. We're done. We can go back now. No? How about some quacking? Guys want to do some quacking? You're in the duck. People are ready? Time to practice. Hocus pocus. Quack, quack.
Quack,
Try that
quack.
again. Hocus pocus.
Quack, quack.
That was really good. And believe it or not, there are some no quacking zones in Boston. We call them lactose intolerant neighbors. I'll tell you when we get there. Other than that, you can do whatever you want. It's your choice. Now you might notice straight, flat, and wide streets, right? All of this is the Back Bay of Boston. If it was 1630, we would be in here. Right? 15 blocks by 11. Built-in land, Back Bay of Boston. Yeah? Yep. We'll talk about that later. But, anybody hungry? Easily, 70,000 square feet of food. Yeah? And if you got any money left over, buy yourself a Tesla. Only car dealership in Boston. Now, has anyone been up to View Boston yet on the top of the Prudential? There is a view deck. Kind of cool, right? On a clear day, it's great. It used to be called the Top of the Hub. 1976 was the whole crew was built. But then, about 5 years ago, it really was out of date, so they closed it. And then, last year, they reopened it. Bar, restaurant, viewing deck. Your junk tickets get you a $10 discount. And the museum and the aquarium. So hold on to those tickets, they're worth some. And today is a great day to go up there because it's clear. On a clear day, you can see as far north as the White Mountains of New Hampshire, or as far east as Cape Cod. So, yeah, today's a good day to do it. Now, let's see, anyone ever heard of Judy Garland? She's in that movie that gave Witches a really bad name, right? The Wizard of Oz? Yeah, when she played Boston, she always stayed right here at the Lenox. This is one of my favorite hotels here. Yep, it's one of our best boutique hotels, actually, the Lenox. But on the third floor is the Judy Garland Suite. She used to stay there a lot when she played Boston. When she passed away, they named that suite of rooms for her. It's called the Judy Garland Suite. So, get off the elevator on the third floor and everything is painted black and white. Open the doors to the suite of rooms. Everything is bright colors like the second house. Doormen about this tall, they have little red suits clean. They pop up the windows all the time and they're wicked neat.
Bienvenidos amigos
But there is a Judy Garland
a
Suite there.
un en vivo más.
Now, how about
No quiero hablar mucho para no sentir incómodo
across the finish
a la
line to the
gente
Boston Marathon. Anyone ever
porque
Boston Marathon?
el guía va hablando y explicando lo que va pasando en el transcurso del camino.
Yeah, right. Well,
entonces por eso no quiero hablar mucho, amigos.
1898 is when they first ran it. Yeah, 15 guys that year. This year, the 129th running, 30,000 runners. Yeah, good. And about a half million people come to launch. Kind of a big deal. Now, over here on your right is one of the 10 most significant buildings in the United States.
Bienvenido.
Called the Trinity Church. It is one of the 10. It is the only church
Gracias,
on the list.
bro.
It's been on the list since they started the list. This architectural style is called Richardsonian Romanesque. Henry Hobson Richardson was the architect, 1877.
Estos son los edificios por donde el lugar por donde vengo a trabajar. Por aquí siempre luego vengo a trabajar, amigos.
Yeah, but I got my own style, and it is quintessential American architecture. Now, she's also the largest of all the churches in the Back Bay. She weighs over 10 million pounds. Now, what happens if you put 10 million pounds of stone on top of soft, wet landfill? It's going to sink, right? So before we built anything in the Back Bay, we brought down 300,000 wood piles in the state of Maine. Maine used to be part of Massachusetts. And they flipped them over and they moved them through the landfill, through the fruit lake, where they did that. 4,500 to all of that church. Now, obviously, they're doing some work in Poplar Square. We figure another 7 to 10 years, they'll be done, and they'll probably look exactly like it did before they started. Now, the invisible forest, right? Yeah, kind of cool. So, pilots have to stay wet. They dry out, they rot. They rot, the buildings fall down. Italy can tell you that, right? Venice, same idea, right? Well, how does that work? Well, this all used to be water, right? And water goes where water was. All this was water. Keep the river, which is over there at high tide, keeps the water table here at high tide, and that is what keeps the pilings wet. And that's been working since the 1800s. Yeah, the invisible forest. This little building over here, which you're going to see in a second, the brownstone with the red brick, has 99 wooden pilings under it. Yep, that used to be our Museum of Science. Anybody been to our Museum of Science yet? Bigger than that, right? Yeah, they were here for almost 100 years though, but they got too big, too much stuff, right? So they moved out to the Charles River Dam. Yep, that became empty. bunch of tenants changed the interior of this building until about 18 years ago, a company called Restoration Hardware bought it. They restored it for their flagship store. Want to spend $250 on a hammer? That's where you want to go. You want nails? Don't go there. You want $35,000 chandeliers? Go there. Yeah. Interior stuff is more than bang, but it is a beautiful building. They did a great job restoring it, and they love to talk about their restoration. They actually did a whole video about it. Yep. Behind it, the tallest church in Boston, the Church of the Covenant, 1867. That church right there is where Nancy Kerrigan got married. Anybody remember Nancy Kerrigan? Right? Silver medalist, figure skating. Why me? Why me? And that was her. She got married there. So lots of churches, right? I'm a witch, but I appreciate good architecture. My favorite church is coming up on the corner on the left. It's called the Arlington Street Church. Not as austere as the ones we've already seen, but pretty important. The windows are Tiffany. This is one of the largest collections of Louis Comfort Tiffany windows in the world. Designed and made by Louis Comfort Tiffany. 16, supposed to be 20. He passed away, never finished the last 4. They were like, whoop, we'll go with the ones that we have. 999 spruce wooden palings all over this church. First, first commercial building, first street in the back. Also the first church to have a same-sex marriage, blessed by the Church of the State in the U.S. These guys, May of 2004. They're Unitarian Universalists. It's the hippie church. Sunday mornings, guy on the stoop with a bubble machine. Told you so, hippie. It's good. Now, way down the other end is Charles Street, where the river began, which means all this used to be water, including that. That is the oldest public botanical garden in the country, and that is landfill. 1837 we filled it in. In the middle is the lagoon for the beautiful invisible swan boats. See them? Of course not. They're invisible. Nope, they're gone. Labor Day is their last day. They're here from April to Labor Day, and they've been around since 1877. A man named Robert Paget came up with the idea for these pedal-powered boats because his favorite opera was called Lohengrin. It was about a knight being towed across a pond by a swan to save his lady love. The wedding march. Dun, 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 dun. I call it the death march, but that's just my opinion. Came from Lohengrin. Same family, 6 generations later, still runs it. Yep, really romantic. It would be nice if they'd go a little later, but they don't. Now, you might notice we have trees here. Well, of course we have trees. It's a park, right? But they weren't here because this all used to be water. So they went all around the country and they got a bunch of trees and they brought them here and they planted them. And then they tagged them. Look at any one of the trees and they'll have a black, red, or a green tag. Black and red, that tree's from another country. If you happen to find one with a green tag, it's a state tree. We have every single state tree for every state in the union here except Hawaii, Arizona, Florida. Why? Winter. They won't survive, so we don't have them. Okay, look around, see if you can find your state tree. Now, Charles Street is where the river began. That means this is the original Shawmut Peninsula. And in 1634, the Puritans designated 48 of the first 51 acres to be the first public park in the United States. Boston Common. Every little English town had a common. This was the Puritans. Today it is ours. What they do here? Well, they graze their cattle and sheep. They planted their gardens. They had their meetings. What else they do here?
Burn witches.
Punishments. That's exactly right. Yeah, punishments, right? You came here once, you didn't become Puritan, they're going to banish you. Second time, they're going to banish you. Third time, they're going to hang you. Especially if you were a Quaker. They didn't like them. Yeah. So, today, we use it pretty much the same way. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to over 300,000 people in 1965. Pope John Paul II had Mass in 1979, I believe. My favorite event comes up in 2 weeks. It's called Hemp Fest.
Yeah.
A lot of happy people here for Hemp Fest. Couldn't find any Fritos, Doritos, potato chips.
Hola Luz Manía, la Merich,
So,
bienvenida.
Quakers were hanged here. Pirates were hanged here. Witches were hanged here. And we do still use it the same way. We don't hang people. No. Nope. Wonder what that is. That's kind of cool. We're going to climb the only hill of the original 3 that is still standing. The other 2 are level. We're going to climb Beacon Hill. There was a beacon on it during colonial days. But I want you to look at the numbers on your left. You might notice some not true in most neighborhoods in the U.S. 64, 63, 62, 61. Does your neighborhood do that? Nope. U.S. realize they'll be odd and even, right? But they knew when they were building these homes in the 1830s and 40s that they could not build here. So they ran the numbers right in order. Brick sidewalks are original. Gas lanterns are lit 24 hours a day. Also original. It is cheaper to leave them lit than to try and find yourself a lamplighter. Nobody wants to be a lamplighter, so we leave lit. Today, Beacon Hill is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the United States. A median home right now is $13 to $20 million here. A parking space, $375,000 a couple of years ago. John Kerry, our former Secretary of State, has a home here on Beacon Hill. He's married to the Heinz ketchup fortune. He can afford it. But you can't change a paint color or a doorknob visible from here in the exterior without talking to the Hysterical Society. Historical Society, same thing. On your right, the Frog Pond sits on top of one of the original springs from the Shawmut Peninsula. In the wintertime, that's an ice rink. In the summertime, it's a splash pad for the kids. Common land for the common man. In the original agreement between Black and the Puritans, nothing could be charged for on the common. If you had cows, everybody could utilize the milk if they wanted to, because you're using common land. Kind of a Puritan thing. Yep. It will be I don't know if they'll put any more water in. They're probably done with that for now. I'll guess the ice rink will be the next thing. It's good though. Now the top of the hill on the left, you're going to see our new State House. 1795. This cool building is on the land that was owned by a man named John Hancock. Anyone ever heard of John Hancock? Big signature, right? Financial revolution, kind of alone. So he outlives his children and he leaves the land coming up on the left to the Commonwealth. And we put our new State House on it in 1795. Two of his buddies, Paul Revere and Sam Adams, laid the cornerstones of the building. The dome was originally wood and it leaked. Paul Revere, the first guy to sheet copper in the U.S., covered it in copper. Today it is covered in gold. One of our 4 presidents, born in Massachusetts, John Kennedy. So that is the State House. The wings World War I, wings in the back World War II. Of course, the bus is blocking us from seeing the Robert Beauchamp Memorial. Thanks, dude. Right over there. Anyone ever seen a movie called Glory? Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington. That's the 54th Regiment. The first all-black volunteer regiment fighting for the North against the South during the Civil War. It's a good one, actually. It's also the beginning of the Black Heritage Trail. Yeah. My favorite statue, I have to admit, is right there. The wicked sad lady sitting on a bench, looking at her cell phone. Mary Dyer. What does it say under her name? Quaker. Yep. Hanged on Boston Common by the Puritans just for being a Quaker. But it also says witness to religious freedom. And she was definitely that. She was born in England of royal blood on both sides of her family as a Puritan. But she came here and she switched to Quakerism and they didn't like it. So they banished her once. She came back. They banished her to Rhode Island the second time and she showed up again. Third time she came back, they said, you come back again, we're going to hang you. She did. They did. But John Adams remembered her years later working on the first constitution in the world, that would be Massachusetts, and he thought the fact that she gave up her life for her religious beliefs was so important it should be in the Constitution of Massachusetts, which it is. In the U.S. Constitution used ours as kind of a roadmap. So yeah, pretty important then. Religious freedom, pretty important now. Is that an expensive hat? He's had that for years. You're going to have to come through the North Slope of Beacon Hill. He lost his hat. I know. Happens all the time, unfortunately. Now he's like, not to me. So this is the North Slope of Beacon Hill. You might notice brick sidewalks, gas lanterns, still original land. So it was one of the largest free black communities before and during our Civil War. We abolished labor here in 1781. This neighborhood was a huge part of that. Yep. Underground Railroad, First African Meeting House, Hayden House, Church of St. John the Evangelist, all of those part of the Underground Railroad. Cool tour, Black Heritage Trail, if you get a chance to do it. Look at that, the only Dunkin' Donuts in Boston, and it is closed. No, there's 87 of them. We run on Dunkin' here. No, we do, we run on Dunkin' here, yep. They started in Quincy, Massachusetts in 1950. 2 brother-in-laws actually started it as a food truck. Yep. Shipyards, manufacturing businesses, that's where they would go and sell coffee and donuts. But they noticed the secretaries kept taking the coffee and the donuts and dunking them. Why do they keep dunking their donuts? That's a good name, let's call it that. Dunkin' Donuts was one. But I couldn't work there because I would never wear pink and orange in the same outfit. Wrong. It's just wrong. Now, West End. Next stop. This is the West End. Kids are on. No kids. Old West Church, also part of the Underground Railroad. Not really a railroad, right? Kind of a network. People, places, slaves escaping the South to go. House them, feed them. Canada. That's where they were trying to go. Because that's where they could be a free citizen. Not going to be true here for another 86 years in the U.S. So, pretty important. Now in the West End of Boston, different neighborhood completely from the North Slope. Didn't look like this though. Not when it was originally built in the 1800s. That church was built in 1861. No, 1809 actually for that one. Yeah. But that's the only one left in this neighborhood that would have been built before 1890s. So, anyone remember a guy named Leonard Nimoy? Spock, right? Yeah, live long and prosper guy. Born and raised in the West End. This was our melting pot, filled with tenement buildings, filled with people from all around the world who had a couple things in common: family, community, and work. They came to make a better life for their families, so they were more than willing to work. And it was a very cool little neighborhood. A lot of people worked at the shipyard, actually. Not very good looking, kind of a tenement neighborhood, right? Small buildings, 3 windows across, 4 or 5 families might live in them. And they all got along. But the federal government over time, after World War II in particular, decided that they would offer the cities money because they thought the cities were dying. Well, people were fleeing to the suburbs in the 1950s and 60s, so they thought if we give them some money, they could tear down the neighborhoods they think are blighted and they could start over. Well, Boston chose the West End because they were immigrants and they didn't vote. So the entire neighborhood over 30 years disappeared. 6,000 people were displaced with a promise they were building something they could afford. Did they? No. Bigger and taller gets better tax base, but not very affordable. Is it good? Did it happen? Was it happening all over the country? Actually, it was. Now, in this block of buildings happened to be a museum called the West End Museum. In the 1990s, they opened this very cool museum with the help of people like Leonard Nimoy. And while he was here in 94, he made a documentary called Leonard Nimoy's Boston about this neighborhood. And he had a sailboat in California that he called the West End. He loved this neighborhood. That museum is free. It's also kind of cool if you get a chance to visit. Tell you all about what this whole neighborhood used to look like. But I can show you at least one tenement building straight ahead of you with the iPhone ad. That is called the last tenement building. That's the only one left. We don't know why. People are like, Mom owned it. Never got in the way. Maybe. We don't know, but there it is. So just picture hundreds and hundreds of that building side by side, row after row, and you have the original West End. Today, it's an Airbnb. People lived here, called it the greatest neighborhood this side of heaven. How do I know that? It says so right there. We made a tribute on the ranch to the West End, so we do not forget what happened here, and it does not happen again. Now, anybody like sports?
Yeah.
Over your right shoulder is the TD Garden, home to the Boston Bruins hockey team, and they blew it. Boston Celtics basketball team. 1-0. Yeah. So you know what happens when we win a championship? A rolling rally on these ducks. We do, let's see, in 24 years we've had 13 championships in New England. We have driven every single one of them. Take the back seats out, put a platform in, take the roof, slide it forward. That's where the players stand. You drive around the city at about 5 miles an hour for about 2.5 hours. Kind of torture. Really good? Yeah. Going in. And this is part of a big project actually that happened here in Boston in the 1990s and the 1000s and 2000s actually, called the Central Artery Tunnel Project. Anyone ever heard of it? It's got a nickname. The Big Dig. Yeah. We had a highway built across Boston in 1958, 30 feet high, 6 lanes wide, wicked unattractive, and very inefficient. Built for 50,000 cars a day. By 1990, about 250,000 cars were going across Boston. Worst traffic in the United States. They went, that's not working, we should do something. Why don't we bury them? Yeah, let's bury them under the city, under the harbor, and under 4 Point Channel. 6 miles of 10-lane highway under the city, the harbor, and the channel. So, some of those cars are going to go down into a tunnel where there are big fans sucking up the emissions, moving the air around. If you have fans, you have vents. If you have vents, you have parks cleaning the air that's being brought up. We gained 40 They were rated one of the best walking cities in the country and one of the cleanest. And that is thanks to Victory. Now you want to meet my ex? He's on the left. See him? Little hands, big mouth. Yep, that's him. What? That's the Museum of Science. Yep. I told you they moved and they got bigger, right? Much bigger. Yep. We're in Cambridge, by the way. Now people assume kids. Plenty of stuff for kids. Also for adults. My favorite is that right there. That white dome is called the Theater of Electricity, or the Lightning Show. Inside that dome is the largest Van de Graaff generator in the world. Yeah. And we are in Cambridge. Not Boston anymore. I call this the Republic of Cambridge. Hope you like kale smoothies. Where your breakfast stops. Right, you might dip it right in. Cambridge, yeah! Ooh, 3 more. What is going on? That's a lot. Right. So, if we were here 30 years ago, we would already be in the water right now. Yep. Also a mitigation park called North Point Park. People ask us all the time, where does all the dirt come from for all the new parks? About 6 miles of tunnel. A lot of dirt. Take that dirt, make a park, and then put a school on top. That's what we did here. It's called Education First. On your left, you'll see an actual piece of the real Berlin Wall given to the founder for his 50th birthday by his staff because they break down barriers. What better barrier than that to make that point? EF1, opened in 97. Education First number 2, 2015. The new dorms will be over here on the left. If you would like to be an interpreter for the Olympics or the World Cup, au pair programs, travel education programs, that's what these guys teach. It's good. Have to establish with the Olympics and the Paralympics, actually. Yeah. Now, anybody want to do a little skateboarding, BMX biking, rollerblading, shredding, lasers, razors, crashing? Nobody's got this skateboard. It's the largest skate park in New England, coming up on the right. 40,000 square feet. Now, you might notice over your head, lots of ramps. So all of this is the north end of the Big Dig. I want to say, 25 years ago, that was mine. Somebody said, we should do something with that. Somebody else said, why not a skate park? Well, they go to a man named Tony Hawk. He says, I'll help you. They go to Van Sneakers. They said, we'll help you pay for it. But a man named Peter Lynch from the Magellan Fund at Fidelity came up with last money, so his name is on it. Not the first, not the second, not the third largest in the U.S. anymore. It is now number 4. But it's good. Yeah. And there's nobody here because it's really early. About 4:20. Okay. You guys ready to go in the water? Yes. All right, we're going to do a little safety here. Coast Guard, State Police right here on the radio. Thrower here, one in the back. Fire extinguisher here, and there is one in the back. If you are 90 pounds or heavier and your captain, that would be me, says grab a life preserver that side. 90 pounds or lighter this side, instructions are on the roof. If we had to get out today, out the windows and stay together. Yeah, we've never done this in 30 years, and we do not plan on doing it today, but we'd like to make sure everybody gets it. Got it?
Agárrese porque ahorita va a
Time to go.
entrar al agua. Agárrese bien.
Focus, focus.
Quack, quack.
Okay, so we certainly get a lot shorter when we get in the water, don't we? Welcome to the Charles River, everybody. Now you want a selfie coming up on your left, wave, no wave back. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? So the Charles River was named for Prince Charles. Not that one. That was another one. 1613, John Smith. Anyone ever heard of John Smith? Pocahontas fame? Came up here from Virginia. Started to start out this road. He's the guy that named
Sí, vamos a
the
nadar.
time on the charts, we were part of Virginia. Takes the charts back across the pond to King James in England.
Es como los patos, por eso dice que le hagamos
Looks
cuac,
at the
cuac.
chart, points at the river, and then they decide to name everything after themselves. 80 miles long, starts in Hopkinton. What else starts in Hopkinton? Marathon, right? 26.2. River's 80. lot of winding. Okay, time to check in. We good?
Estamos ya.
Alright. Let's just check. Detail ready? So, say you're in the harbor, it's over there, and you want to get to your yacht club over here on the river. Low tide. The harbor's going to be 6 to 10 feet lower than the river. How are you going to get here? Yeah, lock it down. See the redbrick building under the bridge behind the train? That is what controls the water table in the back bay, keeping the pilings wet. To the left of that, there are also 3 locks. They are small, medium, and large. It really depends on the size of your boat. Call up on channel 13 and say, hey, I gotta go upriver. They go, how big are you? I'm 35 feet. You're gonna go into door number 2. You pull in, they shut the doors front and back of you. Tie up your boat, and you wait. Big pump, like an elevator moving up or down, then you open up the end and out you go. Simple, but millions of gallons can go through there in a day. Sometimes it doesn't. This is the old Lockett Dam. Doesn't work, just a pass-through. 1970s, in fact, it was flooding too much, and they realized the dam is not doing its job anymore. We need to build a newer dam. So they did. And we're going to go through the lock. Doesn't work, it's just a pass-through now. Now, take a good look at the river. Is it clean or dirty water? Big question mark, right? Well, in 1972, those groups formed in the U.S. called the EPA. The Environmental Protection Agency went all around the country rating the river. The Charles got a D minus, second dirtiest river in the country. Cuyahoga in Ohio caught fire 13 times, though it might have been more. So, in the 80s, we formed a group here called the Charles River Watershed Association. With the city, the Commonwealth, the EPA, they all said it is time to clean up the river. So, we did. Today, the Charles is the cleanest urban river in the United States. A minus to be one. Now, ask anybody from Boston, you want to go swimming in the Charles? But you can. It's swimmable. Yep. 20 species of fish live here now, and brought back over 35 species of birds. All that, a very good stuff. But it is kind of a greenish brown, yes? Tannin. What are the leaves on the trees going to do? They're going to turn brown, and they're going to steep. They're going to fall. They're going to steep just like tea. That's what makes this pretty clean, actually. Now, I believe in a second, Kim is going to toot the horn because we're coming to a blind corner. It is called a rule of the river. Up, he's juggling. It's going to be Garibaldi. Nope, it's Hocus Pocus! Wackenstein. On your left, Boston and Suffolk County. On your right, Cambridge and Middlesex County. The river is the border between the two. But 1630, that was Boston, and over here would be Newtown, because it was the new town. And the Puritans were not very creative in naming things. So in 1636, they opened a college in Newtown. They called it College in Newtown. I told you they weren't creative. In 1638, however, a man named John Hobbit passed away. Left all of his books and half his money to the college in Newtown. They went, fine, we'll change the name of our school. A couple of months later, they changed the name of their town. They didn't like being called Newtown. Most of them were educated in Cambridge, England. Just changed the name to Cambridge. 1635, first public school in the United States. Boston Line. Also still exists. So if I look right thing, what you do about the Puritans, something they left us was their love of education. Still true today. Yep. I guess they took carousel out. So, right about now is when we let him take a little break. So, what we do usually is have the kids come up and do a little photo op at the wheel, but I don't think we have any kids on the documentary. We have one right here. Would anyone like to come and do a photo op at the wheel? You don't have to be a kid, because obviously we don't. She's like, I'm doing it. And your name is? Welcome, Louis. Have a seat. So here's the thing, watch your head, watch your step. If you bang your head, watch your language. First time. So both sides of the landfill, yes? Yes. You go to the hospital on your left, you go a quarter of a mile into Cambridge on your right. And that was true until the Industrial Revolution, and they started to fill in over in East Cambridge. They built canals, they built businesses like slaughterhouses, textile mills, paint factories, chocolate factories. Everybody built it, everybody jumped into the canal. That went the river, the harbor, the bay. That, yeah. Today, it's biotech, right? You got apartments, you got condos, you got Information Square over here with Yahoo and Google and Instagram. Venmo, my new favorite app. How about Moderna? Anybody have the Moderna shot? Came from right here. Yep. Also, a couple of very small, insignificant colleges, but they tell me I have to talk about them. Harvard, MIT, which stands for Billionaires in Training. All right, thank you very much. Anybody else want to do this? Look at the lady in the back because I saw her switch seats. Good job.
Los patos, miren.
She need to have a lot more than one for this job. All right. I will take your picture if you want. And your name is? Welcome, Tina. Lives are now in Tina's hands. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Put your hands on the wheel. There you go.
She's a nurse. We're fine.
1, 2, 3. Now you're going to drive because I'm going to do video, okay? There you go. Tina with the back bay in the background. Not bad, right? Yeah. Nice drive. Beautiful drive. All right. And we have a picture of Tina. I know we had one more from Italy. Come on, let's go. So, on your left, all IVGH. That's Old Man's Greatest Hospital, Mass General Hospital. Yeah, founded in 1811. Part of Harvard Medical School, then and now. Three of our first happened right there. First use of ether. Anesthesia. Changed our lives, right? Before that, you were awake if you had surgery. 1896, first documented medical x-ray. 1962, first limb reattachment. First face transplant. 7 years ago, there was a famous singer named Adele. She needed throat surgery. She could have gone anywhere in the world. She chose Mass Pioneer. They were number one for 9 years, I believe. Now they're number 2. Boston Children's, 13 years in a row, best pediatric hospital in the country. Mass General's been in the top 10 in the world for 16 years. We're really lucky with River Houses. All right. There you go. And your name is? Well, Giuseppe. See, it's so much nicer when they say it, isn't it? Thank you. Got time for one more? Anybody else? Let's do it. Yep. We'll get her on the way back. It's good. We got plenty of time. And your name is? Welcome, Craig. Nice phone. All right. Give me a smile. Take over, and on the way back we will do the rest of the book, guys. Sticker. Now look up the hill to your left. You're going to see the gold dome of the State House coming into view. Right there. You go over. That gold dome is 13.2 pounds of 23 karat gold leaf. Every 30 years or so they release that. The only time that wasn't gold was World War II. They painted it black. They were afraid it would get bombed. Yep, but that's the Shulman Peninsula right there. Everything else is landfill. Yep. In 1634, first colonial governor John Winthrop sent a letter back to his wife in England saying, I have a dream of a city on a hill. That is the city on a hill. It's also 4 centuries of architecture. Now the bridge is called the Longfellow Bridge. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Anyone ever heard of him? Poet, right? Lived over there, worked over there. Used to walk back and forth across the Dirtwood Bridge every day, wrote a poem about it called The Bridge. pretty depressing, actually. Not the one that made him most famous. That would be Paul Revere's Ride, yes? Listen, my children, and kind of thing. We call the Salt and Pepper Bridge because the towers look like Grandma Salt and Pepper, yes? 3-year restoration, 5.5 years later. Twice as much money. Happened again. Pretty good. Now, let's come out from the bridge. You're going to see the $1 million view of the Back Bay of Boston. That is what our founder, Andy Wilson, called it. There'll be a church steeple at about 11 o'clock in a second. That would be the beginning of the Back Bay. And then you're going to go all the way down to the white sign with the red triangle way down there in Kenmore Square. Everything in between is the Back Bay and it's all landfill. The building with the black stripe is the Hancock Tower. Tallest building in New England, 63 stories high. You guys started at the one at about 1 o'clock. The view on top, that's pretty good. You can see view Boston if you look.
Saludos, Janita, ¿cómo está? Bienvenida.
52 stories high. MIT starts at the Green Windowed building, goes around the corner a couple of miles. Harvard is inlet. You can't see it unless you go way upriver. There's one bridge off in the distance that has 3 names. It is called the Mass Ave Bridge, the Smoot Bridge, and the Harvard Bridge. Does it go to Harvard? It goes to MIT. Why is it at the MIT Bridge?
¿Verdad que sí? Bien padre, amiga. Gracias. Aquí ando un ratito paseando por Boston,
Fenway Park,
Massachusetts.
White Sign, Red Triangle, Kenmore Square. You're going to be 5 blocks from that when you get back to the top. You don't do any other tour, you should do that one. Even though they're not a very good team this year. It is a very cool mobile park. 1912, home to the Red Sox. Esplanade. This entire park is landfill, at least a section of it is. It goes 6 miles into Watertown. But right here used to be the widest part of the river, actually. It was 3 times wider, 3 times wider than it is here. There's a brown dome hide behind that tree right there. That's called the hatch shell. That is where the Boston Pops performs for the 4th of July. A big celebration on the 4th here. Yeah, we take it pretty serious. And they start the 1812 overture there. That would be the Boston Pops. And the fireworks begin here. From that bridge to this bridge, that's largest still in fireworks. 500,000 people on land, probably about 5,000-6,000 on the water. Yep. Community voting, one of the oldest in the country, started in 1941. When you bought your tickets, they might have asked you to round up, leave your pennies for charity. That woman goes to, yeah. That money goes to quack.
Todos estos edificios que ves altos son los donde he venido a trabajar y luego les he hecho en vivos desde los edificios altos. Así como ese, ay, se ve borroso. Ese de ahí atrás. En los edificios más altos yo he venido a trabajar y he hecho un en vivo mostrando la ciudad. Ahora estoy desde acá abajo hacia arriba mostrando los edificios. Sí, hay un montón de patitos. Bastantes patos.
Part of the way that it looks at the historic bridge, so they had to learn to rivet. They actually had to be trained to rivet. Bring in all the guys who've done it before, and that's what they did. So it took longer. Came out really nice, though.
Estoy a 1 hora de mi casa, amiga.
All right, I believe we had someone else who wanted to drive. Yes.
Este lugar es el que más concurro cuando vengo a trabajar a 1 hora. Depende si hay mucho tráfico, 1 hora y media. Pero como yo me vine en tren hoy, porque como voy a andar así turisteando, pues preferí venirme en tren y me hice 1 hora y media en tren.
Give me a smile. Smile, smile, smile. There you go. I love it. Thank you very much. I need my stickers. Sorry about that. Got it. Most important thing right here is a sticker, right? Anybody else? Really? Nobody? Yeah, come on. Let's do it. One or the other, let's go. Oh, you just want the sticker? When she comes back, I'll make sure you get one. Why not, right? How are you? What's your name? Welcome, MJ. I'll take that.
No, amiga, no estoy
Michael
tan
Jackson,
lejos. Estoy algo cerquitas. Cada vez que venga voy a tratar de hacer un en vivo aquí en la ciudad de mi padre. Quiero venir. Ya vine una vez ahí, el Museo de la Ciencia. Una vez vine y está muy padre por dentro. Quiero transmitir en vivo por dentro. Para la próxima que venga, ojalá y venga pronto a hacer un en vivo en ese museo. Está muy padre el museo. Y quiero venir al acuario. Ahí mismo a un lado está un acuario y está padrísimo. Y obviamente es muy diferente en lo que se ve en pantalla a como se ve en persona. Se ve padrísimo.
He comes back to visit with a bunch of friends, and they all get together one night. They decide they're going to start a company together. It was called Polarization. Yeah. So these, something invented, right? Polarization. Yep, that was him. How about aerial photography, World War II? That was also him. Probably the most popular thing
Sí,
he ever
así
designed was called
es.
the
La
Interstellar
señora
Polaroid
que
Land.
está dando el tour, la guía,
Take a picture,
nos está
pull it out.
nos está narrando así la historia de los edificios, todo alrededor donde vamos pasando. Nos está dando la narración. Por eso casi no hablo para no incomodar a los demás personas, no incomodar al que está narrando y a las personas que están al lado mío. Por eso estoy así como un poco callada, para respetar el trabajo de la que está narrando. Dice Mimita, ¿cómo está el clima? Está muy rico, pero ya está empezando el frío. Por ejemplo, ahorita el sol ya está rico, calientito, pero si topamos con sombra, está muy frío, está helado. Que ya está empezando el invierno. Desde septiembre ya empieza a hacer frío. Muchas gracias, amiga. Gracias. Aquí a tratar de disfrutar un ratito el tour. Yo creo que falta como media hora más, porque cuando compré el boleto decía hora y media. Ahí está el museo. Es el museo que les digo que quiero venir a hacer en vivo. About a year after he was here, they called up and said, so how's he doing? They were like, are you kidding me? We'd like 10 of these. So Boston Scientific said, really? How about we build you an entire wing for robotics and AI? That's what they're doing. Yep. You're going to be a science museum. You need to keep up. They're keeping up. Yep. Now my favorite thing has to be right over here. It's called the wedding tent. Behind that green awning is a tent. It is used for graduations, collations, and weddings. But I gotta tell you, I did always wonder, why would you have a wedding at the Museum of Science? Hey honey, let's get married at the Museum of Science. Really? Why would you do that? I figured it out. Good chemistry. They were shooting a TV show against weekends in a row, and boys, they get mad at the ducks. There are 28 ducks out 5 times a day, quacking and shooting their horns. Big problem, yeah. Yep, someone in the office finally asked them, I know you guys want us to stop doing that, but we can't do that. It's a safety issue, they have to keep shooting their horn. They finally said, so why, what are you guys doing? They said, we're shooting a TV show called Married at First Sight. Really? Married at First Sight? You take this man to be a lawfully wedded, wow, in the middle of it. They didn't want to swear. And yep, we have 28 of these vehicles. We are one of the largest fleets in the world of these for tourism at 28. These guys are between 10 and 18 and they are bioteams. The original ducks, 30 years ago, were from the war. They were smaller, they were faster, they did not have roofs, windows, or seats, and there was a 50 caliber gun here. Just the setup, they didn't give us the gun. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a movie called Saving Private Ryan? Opening scene, real footage from World War II. Go for it. Yep. Yeah, opening scene, real footage. Yeah, in real life there were over 600 of these on D-Day. Moving 40% of the men and the equipment shipped to people. 21,000 of these vehicles were built between 1942 and the Vietnam War. Most of the ones during World War II were actually built by Rosie the Riveter, Wendy the Welder, right? 6 million women went to work for the first time during World War II. You know what came out of it? Daycare. Men are fighting, women are going to go to work, we're going to take care of the kids. The women said that. GM, the original designer builder, said, bring them. We need you. Women showed up with the children. The company was like, not a problem. Set up a room with books and toys. And opened the door and said, take care. 1922. Okay. Now, we call these ducks, but it isn't spelled like most people spell ducks. D-U-K-W. That is a military thing. D stood for the year, fourth letter of the alphabet, fourth year of the war, 1942. That's the year they were designed. U is for utility vehicle, which they were. K is for the front wheel drive. The kit will turn on as we climb out. The point on the K points to the front of the word. W, double rear axle. Look under the back of the duck, soldiers. Didn't call them duck boats, didn't call them duck boats, call them ducks. We call them ducks. Yeah. You might notice on the canvas over your head, there's a lot of signatures here. These are people who've been on this duck that are serving or have served in the military. It's a thank you for this. So if anyone serves, let me know at the end of the tour. I have the HR people will be honored to be the son. Now, how about a little free room and board? Anybody? Red brick building with the shiny windows, central gym, central laundry, central kitchen, doorman, bars in every room. They give you an outfit if you go there. Suffolk County Jail. Look like a jail? People in the West End are going, no you don't. You're not putting a jail in our neighborhood. The guy who designed it said, I told you I was going to hide in plain sight. And he did. On the outside, could have been a hotel and office building. On the inside, looks exactly like a jail. Best view of the letter P, take the Bunker Hill Memorial Bridge. On your right, the past, our present, and our future. And it is the north end of the big gate. But that lights up at night. Yeah, in March, that bridge is green for St. Paddy's Day. In April, it's blue and gold for the Boston Marathon. In June, it is multicolored for Pride. 4th of July, red, white, and blue. October, pink. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. 10 years ago, Prince passed away. What color was the bridge? Purple. That's purple. Alright. Kids gonna let the front wheels gently kiss the front of the ramp, and we're gonna get out of here. Gonna change out the lights, turn off the propeller, put us in regular gear, and we will be a truck again. Don't try this at home, it'll be a really bad idea. How about a round of applause for Kim for keeping us safe on the roads and in the water?
Woohoo!
There you go. She does good work.
Es el tren donde me
Now, on
vine
your
de mi
right is
casa.
the movie Star.
En ese tren es el que pasa por la casa, entonces
And it's really just a
bueno, es la línea que
Anybody
pasa
ever seen a movie
por
called The Town?
de
with Ben
Boston
Affleck
para
and
acá.
about some bank robbery? Equalizer 1 and 2 with Denzel. Good Will Hunting. All of them use that as part of their set. In The Town, Ben Affleck is trying to charm
No
the girl.
quise decir la línea de tren que pasa de Rhode Island para acá.
I work at Boston Sand and Gravel, and every day, like Fred Flintstone, I slide down the back of my Brontosaurus, I punch my time card, and I go home. Who's got a better Boston accent than Ben Affleck? Everybody has a better Boston accent than Ben Affleck. He's not from Boston. He's from Cambridge. Matt Damon is also from Cambridge. Marky Mark Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg, Rachel Dretch, John Krasinski, Chris Evans, Donna Summers. These guys were all from Boston. Not Damon, Don Affleck. Nope, they're from here. Yep. So a third of the concrete that they used in the Big Dig came from right there at Boston Sand and Gravel. You took all the concrete they used, this entire project, you just made one sidewalk, 3 feet wide by 4 inches thick, to go from here to San Francisco and come back. 3 times. Big project, yeah. Now, anybody been in the aquarium here? Guys see Myrtle the turtle? The big one. She's at the top of the tank. He's got a buddy that lives in the aquarium. Her name is Myrtle the turtle. She's 550 pounds this year, and she's over 100 years old. When they built the aquarium in 1968-69, Myrtle was actually a rescue turtle, and she was about that big, which is still pretty big. Today, she would take up 2.5 seats if we get her on the deck. About a month ago, I was talking to the guy that runs the aquarium. I said, so is this typical of a tortoise to be this large? He said, first of all, she isn't a tortoise. She's a green sea turtle. And yeah, they can live to be between 200 and 300 years old if they're in a safe environment. I know, she can outlive all of us. And what does she eat? Shark, lettuce, Brussels sprouts. She's a vegetarian. Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff in the Seaport District. Harbor Island tours, whale watching tours, Tall Liberty ships, and there is a ferry that will take you to Salem. Yep, October's coming. I keep telling people, don't drive to Salem. Too nutty. Take the ferry. It's much easier. Yeah, it's good. Now, I want you to look through the arches on your left. You're going to see a monument way off in the distance. Now, anybody been over to Charlestown yet? That monument? What is it? Bunker Hill Monument. Question number 1, is that actually Bunker Hill? Nope. Did we win the Battle of Bunker Hill? Nope. They won. He's right, they did. Yeah. So why do we have a monument on the wrong hill to a battle that we lost? Pretty important battle of the Revolution, right? Okay. So let's go back in time to the Revolution, to the about 1760s, right? The British Crown was pretty angry with the colonists, especially in Boston, because we were not paying attention to the king, and we pretty much stopped paying taxes. Tea tax, currency tax, stamp tax, paper tax. Colonists were like, we're not paying any more taxes till we have representation in Parliament, right? Taxation without representation is tyranny. That's what the Revolution was all about. So by 1770, the Boston Massacre.
Ya me dio,
Talk about that.
ya me dio hambre.
It really solved anything. So by
Me
1770,
vine sin
and it
desayunar
really kind of made things worse. The king sent soldiers here to kind of straighten out the colonists.
como es inicio de semana, estoy tratando de entre semana no hacer como ayunos.
Now, I think of that as our first shot for freedom. Most people think it would be the
Y
Boston
como
Tea
estoy en el
Party.
trabajo, pues eso me ayuda a hacer el ayuno bien. Pero ahorita que no estoy trabajando, vengo sentada, estoy dando hambre.
And we're drinking Dutch tea. We don't need your British tea, and we're not going to pay for it. And the loyalists are going, yes, we are. And the governor is saying, you have to pay for that tea. And the colonists are going, yeah, not really. We're not going to. Well, they were never going to agree. So on December 16, 1773, they're all the old Salvinos arguing about the tea that was sitting in the harbor. And finally, the loyalists and the governor realized that they were going to agree to this. They were going to agree to this. So they left. And now we have left the colonists on December 16th. And they realized we got to get rid of that tea. So a bunch of guys dress up as indigenous people. They go down to the harbor. They take all 342 chunks of tea and they throw it in the harbor. Takes care of that, right? Nope. What does the king do? He blockades the busiest part of the continent. Boston is closed. That's a problem. The closest port to England, number 1, which was the busiest port in the world, actually. And this is a real problem. But on top of that, he decrees that if you're a colonist and you own a home, and a British sailor or soldier shows up at your house, they want to sleep in your bed, eat your food, and hang out, they can do that, and you can't say anything about it. Big problem. So, by 1775, about a year and a half later, most of the colonists have gone off into the countryside with their relatives because Boston was literally closed. So all you have left is sailors, soldiers, loyalists, and 2 spies. One was named Paul Revere. The other one was Dr. Joseph Warren, and their job was to let everybody outside of Boston know what was happening here. Well, they noticed on April 18th, actually Paul Revere really did notice it more than the doctor did, that something's going on. All of a sudden, there's a big uptick around the British ships. Something's going to happen. The agreement between Cambridge, Charlestown, and Boston was 1 if by land, 2 if by water. They didn't go by sea, they went by river. That's a poem written by Longfellow. Pretty inaccurate, actually. So Revere goes to the old North Church in the North End, which we're going to see in a second. He asked the sexton there, who he knew, to hold up two lanterns that could be seen from Cambridge and Charlestown. In the meantime, Revere's rode across the harbor by some friends to Charlestown, borrows a horse over there from a man named Deacon Larkin, and starts his famous midnight ride. Now, question number one, was he alone? 39 riders. Did he yell, "The British are coming, the British are coming"? At the time, everybody was British. No such thing as an American yet. We hadn't even had a revolution. So, no. So Longfellow writes a poem almost 90 years later to drum up support for the Civil War. He wanted one lone patriot to be out there riding around because then everyone would want to be that patriot. Most of the poem is very accurate, actually. Revere did make a ride. He goes to Lexington with a man named William Dawes. He knocks on the door that he knows two of his buddies have been hiding behind for months before going to Congress. That would be John Hancock and Sam Adams, and he gets ahead of the British soldiers, knocks on the door and says, "You guys gotta go. The British are right behind us. They're coming to arrest you." It wasn't even midnight, it was 9:30, and he totally wasn't alone. Knocking on doors and passing on messages, that's what these people were doing. One person could never have done what they say. You need all 39 people to get this done. So, Revere does make a ride. He does get to Lexington. He warns these two guys back on his horse with William Dawes. They head towards Concord. Big store of ammunition in Concord. Boy, the British want it back. Well, they get back on their horses and they ride towards Concord. But 3 miles out, they're stopped in Hill. Till 4 a.m. when the first shot was fired. The shots heard around the world. Actually, William Dawes ran up in the woods. They was held till 4 a.m. Eventually, they heard the shot fired. They take his horse and he walks back to Lexington. So, who gets to Concord? Dr. Prescott. Anyone ever heard of him? Nobody wrote a poem about him. So it's all about who you know. Yep, won the militia. Now, a couple months later, Bunker Hill takes place. Right? Boston is really under siege now, and nothing's coming or going, including food. Now, the British are here, and they notice there's a ridge line in Charlestown. They also think, anybody over there with cannons could actually fire at our ships. And that's our exit. We need to make sure that we get over there first. So they make a plan, 617. Our area code, 617. For Bunker Hill Day. Yep, the plan was they were going to go over there and take the hill on 617. Now, we found out because, again, we had spies here. So hundreds of men are told to leave Cambridge, row across the harbor under the cover of darkness, muffle your oars. It's a foggy, moonless night. 600-700 men get over there and they build fortifications all night to the next day. The British go over like 3 in the afternoon. They waited for the time to change. They were surprised for sure, but they were still the best army in the world, right? They march up the hill in straight British fashion, very gentlemanlike, right into the line of fire. They do that once and they're fought back. Twice they're fought back. Third time they actually took the hill. Colonists ran out of ammunition. Or who knows what would have happened. Then the British burned the town to the ground, but it's bloody style of the revolution. Numbers, all about the numbers. 2,200 British soldiers go over there. 1,034 of them are dead or dying. Where are we going? Oh, never mind. So, let's see. So 2,200 British soldiers go over there. 1,034 of them are dead or dying. 400 to 600 patriots also dead or dying. To this day, we don't know how many colonists died because we don't know how many colonists fought. Yeah? Yep. So, last battle of Boston, Bunker Hill. Yeah? Yep. Lots of stuff was said, maybe not was said. Don't fire until they see the whites of their eyes. Not really sure about that one. That's kind of a question mark. But there was a distance thing. They had done a marker so that they could tell when they should actually fire. We didn't have that much ammunition. Yeah. Now, Old State House, down there, see the red brick building? It's got a gold line and a silver unicorn up on top. That is the original colonial State House. The lion represents angel and the unicorn represents Narnia, Scotland. Yeah, that's it. Now, oldest burying ground in Boston right there. Called the King's Chapel Burying
Ya
Ground.
casi se va a terminar el viajecito.
The guy who brought them here, John Winthrop, he's buried here. Mary Chilton, one of the first women out of the Mayflower, she's buried here. William Dawes did the famous midnight ride of Paul Revere, also buried here. The Gold Trip Building is the Army Park House, oldest continuous running hotel in the United States. It's also the birthplace of our state dessert, Boston cream pie, which is a cake, not a pie, by the way. Ho Chi Minh and Malcolm X both worked in the kitchen there at one time. Yep. I know, pastry chef dishwasher. That's true, it's kind of crazy, right? On your right, the granary, the superstar burying grounds. 3 signers of the Declaration of Independence are here. John Hancock, Robert Tree Payne, and Samuel Adams. Only place in the world you can do this, go into the Beantown pub on your left, get a nice cold Sam Adams. Stand in the window, you're looking at the coldest Sam Adams ever. Too soon? Paul Revere and both of his wives in the back. 2 wives, 16 children, busy guy Paul Revere. Right in the middle is a big obelisk. It says, Franklin. Not Aretha. Not Ben, but that's his family. Born here, one of 17 children. He is not buried here. He is in Philadelphia. Yeah. 16 kids, 17 kids.
Está bien, Janita, muchas gracias. Gracias por acompañar aquí el tour también. Y como usted sabe inglés, pues ya ahí va escuchando un poco de lo que va narrando. Un feliz viaje también. Va usted de viaje 1 hora. Maneje con cuidado también porque es peligroso. Las calles son peligrosas hoy en día, muchos accidentes.
No, they're fighting with the French, right? We liked the French at the time. We still kind of like the French. But without them, we would never have won our revolution, right? Thank you, Rochambeau and Lafayette. And that guy right there is the guy who said it first. But he was also pretty unlucky. He actually did a 7-hour speech in that old state house about taxation without representation being tyranny, right? But, yeah, if somebody disagreed with him, like 3 months later, he gets in a brawl in a bar and his head gets split open. He's never the same. He moves with his sister, Quincy Mass. He gets struck by lightning. Survived. But struck by lightning again a year later. Died. That's true. Twice. It's crazy. Put 100 people in a circle, and if one of them has been struck by lightning, that's who gets struck again, probably. Changes your magnetic field. Now look uphill. There's the new State House again. Nice view. This is Boston Common again. Common land for the common man. Now, has anyone done the Freedom Trail? Okay, starts here. There's a building set back with a red ring around the roof. Go in there, get a map, follow the red line. You'll see it in a second. That's how you can do this yourself. Or, in front of the building, there is usually people standing around in period costume. And those people might just give you a tour for a couple of bucks. Why some people want to stand around in stupid costumes, put on dumb hats and do tours, I will never know. It's so ridiculous. Nobody out there today. Now our newest statue is coming up on your right. It's the brown one, the bronze one. That's called the Embrace. Yes? Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King Memorial. Yeah. Yep, they went to college here. They met as students in Boston, actually. He went to Boston University. She went to the Conservatory of Music. And they met, they get married, they have some kids. In 1965, he wins his Nobel Prize for Peace. He hugged his wife. Someone was standing with him and snapped a photograph. We took that photograph and turned it into that statue. It's very realistic, actually, but it's got no heads. It's got no heads. Focus, focus.
Quack, quack.
That was a worker. That's kind of interesting. I like it. Now, how about what's hiding under here? Anybody? Oldest subway line to the oldest subway system in the United States. Yeah. 1898, we ran this line, Park Street to Boylston Street, because this street was so congested, people were dying. They were getting run over by horses and trolleys. The mayor was really worried. He went, oh my God, we're going to do something about this. And he went to London, saw the oldest subway system in the world, and went, underground, that's a good idea. We should do that. Came back, said, we're going to dig up Boston Common and run a trolley line underground. What do you think? The elders are like, I'm going to dig up Boston Common? That's sacred ground. We don't want to go underground, the devil's underground. People are kind of superstitious, but not here. This is original land, remember? Yeah, you were close though, yeah. Boston Common. Yeah, I know. So, did it. They did it actually. First day, September 1st, 1898, 25,000 people rode it. 500 yards. That's all it was, 500 yards. By the end of the month, 500,000 people had come. It came a date night, bang. Hey, let's get dressed up and ride the team. You wouldn't do that today. Yep, 160 some odd lines. Not going to talk about the efficiency of the MBTA. We're working on it. Now we're in the theater district. You might notice up ahead of you, there's also one on your right. We have about 13 of our original 50 theaters. But we're also in the middle of a college campus. One of 31 colleges is right here called Emerson. Yes? Theater Communications School. Pretty famous graduates went here. Jay Leno, Louis C.K., Dennis Leary, Norman Lear, Carol Burnett, the Fonz, Henry Winkle went to Emerson. Excellent student. He got all 8. Stifler's mom. Jennifer Coolidge went to Emerson. They have a degree here in stand-up comedy. That means as a parent, you could spend $260,000 to find out if your kid is funny. 31 in Boston, 114 in Massachusetts. 650, 680,000 people live here during the summer. Last 2 weeks, we've gone over 900,000. Why? Students come back. What do we call it? Torture. They love their U-Haul, but they're a huge part of the city, actually. Now, we went right at that last light. If we had gone left and gone that way, we would have gone into Chinatown. We don't go to Chinatown. You know why? We don't fit. Yeah, the streets are too narrow. We do not fit there. The fourth largest Chinatown in the U.S., and we can't go there because we're too fat. Where's the largest Chinatown in the U.S.? San Francisco. San Francisco. Number 2. Nobody ever got to. Honolulu. I've had one guy guess that. You know where he was from? Honolulu. Manhattan is number 3 and Boston is number 4. Yeah. Pretty cool little neighborhood to get a chance to visit, actually. Okay, we just started out there. We went like that, we went like that, and now we're going like that. All of this that we're in used to be, Back Bay, Boston. Let's talk a little bit about this project. In the 1830s and 40s, we had a lot of money in Boston, but nowhere for them to build. Beacon was pretty full. This was water, shallow, marshy, stinky water, actually. So they realized, we guys got to take their tax money and leave town. We should do something. Somebody says, why don't we fill in that cesspool in the Back Bay? We could fill it in, and they could build on top of it. Be a great idea, right? So from like 1858 to 1900, 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, train cars filled with soil drove up here from a little town south here called Needham Heights. Today, it's called Needham Flats. We took a lot of their soil. At the time, the manual labor were the Irish. They built it. They would take the soil off the train cars at the Prudentials. That's where the railroad actually stood. And they would move it to the first block, which is this one. Fill in a block. The city would sell it, let them build. Take the money, roll it into the next block, sell it, let them build. They kept doing that. Every 7 to 10 years, they would finish another block. Architecturally, if you go up west, you'd start noticing the architecture changing. Streets are alphabetical. Pretty easy to get through back here. Arlington is the first one that was filled in. Then going west, the second one is Berkeley. Then Clarendon, Dartmouth, Exeter, Fairfield, Gloucester, Hereford, Ipswich, Jersey, Carmarthen, and Lansdowne. A, B, C. Arlington, 3 syllables, goes south. Berkeley, 2 syllables, goes north. Clarendon, 3 goes south. Dartmouth, 2 goes north. 3, 2, 3, 2, ABC. How about the rest of Boston? Nope, it's where GPS goes to die. Compounds, right? Everything's kind of bendy and windy, but not here. This is planned, so it's very easy. Yep. Now, if you'd like to do some shopping, you want to go 2 streets over there. It's called Newberry Street. It is our answer to Rodeo Drive on 5th Avenue. You've got like Tiffany, Burberry, Ann Taylor, Lord & Taylor, Dolce & Gabbana, Vera Wang, Valentino, Giorgio Armani. My favorite, way down the other end, is called Salvation Armani. It's right by Target, Marshall. Gold block, silver block, bronze block. As you go west, you get to a lot more normalized stores. My favorite block is called the Vinyl block because there used to be a big Tower Records there. Remember Vinyl? I know. I still have a
Yo me cansé de estar sentada.
Now that tall church again, on your right. Back to Copley Square we go. Trinity Church will be on our right again. Now the city made an agreement with Trinity Church a really long time ago, actually. They said, we will never ever let anything be built around your beautiful church that could possibly overshadow it. Really. So, flash forward to 1976. Hey, let's build the tallest building in New England right next to Trinity Church. And they did, but the architect's name was Henry Cobb. He worked for a company called IMP. He said, everybody stop worrying. I have this under control. I found these really cool things called reflective panes of glass. I think we should just do the whole building out of 10,343 panes of reflective glass. And they did. So it does not overshadow anything. It reflects everything around it. Sunlight into the altar of the Fairmont, of the Trinity, Fairmont Hotel, Tompkins Square, Boston Public Library. Everything is reflected rather than overshadowed, including you. If you want another selfie, here's your chance. Or you could just wave and they'll wave back. How you doing, ladies? It's good, right? Yeah. Now the Fairmont Hotel was built in 1912, and because of that, its lobby furniture took an extra 5 months to get here. You know why? Was on the Titanic.
Ya voy a colgar, amigos, ya estamos llegando casi al destino.
See the doghouse behind
Ya
the
vamos a
lion? That's
llegar.
the girl who lives in Newport.
Se acabó el tour.
She's retired seeing eye dog. She's their bastard.
Entonces, para la otra voy a hacer otra en vivo y ahora sí me van a escuchar hablando, ok, amigos. Voy a voltear la cámara. Me despeino al aire. Pero hasta aquí el video de hoy. Gracias por acompañarme. Nos vemos. Adiós. Adiós, amigos.